Hello, everyone, and welcome to this creator event. So, today, what I'm going to be doing is interviewing the Uncommon One, and we'll be going over the beginnings of Salient. So, let me introduce to you the Uncommon.
These settings real quick. Hello, hello.
Hello. Okay, I think, yep, everyone's here. Okay, so welcome everyone to this Roblox event. So, what I'm going to be doing today is interviewing the Uncommon One, as I've already mentioned, and everyone should be able to see him. So, what I'm going to start off by doing is asking you a couple of questions. Feel free to answer them however you would like. After that, the chat will open so anyone can talk to you or ask any questions, sort of thing. Yeah. So, moving on to the first question. So, what inspired you to start Salient? And how did you come up with the name?
So, a lot of people, well, as they may or may not know, I used to run a group called Thailand, right? And uh, that group was nominated for 2 Bloxies, and I at one point I decided I didn't wanna really make anything, right? And so I kind of faded away from that. And as everyone, anyone with like that's like a creative kind of person. I eventually got that itch again. I just really wanted to come back and start making stuff again. But my problem was that I felt like Thailand, which was the Bloxy Award nominated group, I felt like that was kind of like in the most like unselfish way. It was kind of like the me show. Like I was doing most of the work and uploading most of the stuff, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to give other people like a platform so that they could, have the same opportunities I had. So that's what I did. I started Salient, and the entire idea of the group is to try and give opportunities to other people that they might not have been able to get on their own. And the name, actually, believe it or not, derives from one of the very, it might have even been the last shoe that we ever made in Thailand. And a group of us came together, which was like I guess you could call it our founding group of Salient. We came together and we kind of brainstormed a name, and for whatever reason everyone liked that one. So it's not something really in depth. I know that's kind of boring, but that's what it was. It was kind of just like a little hosted vote,
So,
and it won, and that's what we went for.
of course, yeah, it's definitely a good way to do it, and yeah, it is such an interesting story, I guess, in a way, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so what advice would you give to someone if they wanted to start their own clothing group?
Okay. This is actually this is actually kind of a difficult one because I have witnessed a lot of people over the years say either they started with me or they wanted to start on their own, right? And a lot of people are like, "Hey, like I really want to start this," and they get into it. And the problem is that a lot of them give up so easy, like so quickly into the process, whether it's a week or a month or like 2 or 3 months, because I guess what people don't understand is that it's really not easy to make it in what we do, right? Like you get one sale, just one, and that's only 3 Robux. Okay, and I don't think people realize how small that is compared to how many people actually buy stuff as well. Like for someone just starting out, let's just say 10 sales is great, right? That's only 30 Robux, and that's a lot less than most people would expect to start out. So a lot of people just, it's like a great idea for them, and they don't necessarily like end up wanting to go through with it just because it's too hard for them, or it's just not what they expected.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, for many people wanting to start it, it can be difficult to sort of, as you mentioned, to get going with it. But
Yeah,
would
and
you?
that's another thing that I really try and help with Salient is like for people that are just starting, it's such a great place to come in and just have like this platform full of people. And who knows, maybe you do want to eventually like start your own group one day or just do whatever you want, right?
Yeah,
But it's such a great place to start is to have a platform where you can present your stuff on a larger scale than you would on your own.
it is, and Roblox is such a good place if you want to like develop graphic making and things like that. Because I
Mhm.
guarantee you've learned quite a lot since making the clothing items or getting other people to sort of do it in a way.
Oh, no, definitely. I've had a lot of people come in to us, and I mean, I think a lot of people that come into us, they just have creative minds, right? They're just like people that delve in just being creative people or a person, whatever you would want to call them. And a lot of them don't even eventually go into a field of design, but they might go in like graphic design. But a lot of them might go into like I've had people go into film, I've had people going into music. Like it's just it's people that have the process that really like to try and be creative and be original. And I don't know. I've also had people like totally go into the graphic route and they're going to college or they're out of college and they have like full scale design jobs. Like I'm kind of just trying to be that place to dip into your creative juices and be that like guiding hand to help them.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's an awesome way to sort of describe it and do it. Okay, so a different question. How did you start on the platform? So before Thailand, before Salient, before everything, how did you start on Roblox?
Okay. Well, this one might actually come as a surprise. The very first thing I ever did on this platform was Roblox wrestling. I did row wrestling with some friends that I don't necessarily talk to anymore, but like we still keep in contact. We have each other's social medias and stuff. But that was the first thing I ever did. And then from there, gosh, it went to I don't know if that's when I started getting into the Roblox coaster community or if I started Roblox basketball first. I think I was in the Roblox coaster community after that. I like went into that and I was kind of really enjoying it. At the time, I had the largest Roblox coaster group, which if you say that now wasn't impressive because it was only 300 some people. But back in the day of like 2010, 2011, that was a huge deal. Um, and just from there, I've kind of done a little bit of everything. I've done clans, I've done all different kinds of sports just because everyone knows I love sports. That's like one of my main hobbies is I love sports. And I've kind of just dipped my toes into like a bunch of different things. And now now not so much just because I don't have the free time I used to. You know, I have a job and I kind of just try and put myself into to what I want to focus on. But I have definitely kind of done a little bit of everything on the site at some point, whether it was good or bad. You know, some things were more fun or more fulfilling than others, but I've been uh I've been around.
Awesome, yeah. It's sort of, I think the platform has grown so much in the last couple of years, as you mentioned. It's a
Oh
small
yeah.
little group, and now it's like a billion sort of users, massive games and everything.
Yeah. And nowadays, everybody knows about Roblox. If you would have said that, I think I joined in late '09. If you would have told somebody back then that you played Roblox, they'd be like, "What's that?" But now, it doesn't matter if you're 7 years old. Even like adults who are like 50 plus years old have heard of Roblox. It's crazy.
It is like pretty much anyone. You could ask someone who is quite young and they will know about it, or parents which may not let their kids sort of use it, but they will know what it is. And yeah,
Oh
it
yeah.
wasn't like that a couple of years back.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so what are some challenges you've had being the group owner of Salient? Has there been any sort of stories or anything?
I think I think the most difficult challenge, at least in recent times, would have to be juggling my personal life and juggling trying to help everybody else. Um, I mean, there has been a lot of other things over the years, but as of right now, I think it's just trying to find the perfect balance, trying to live my life, outside of Roblox and my job and all that, and then try and find time for pleasure, but also find time to help others. And yes, I do find pleasure in helping others, but like we find pleasures in like different ways. Like sometimes I might just want to like sit back and relax, maybe watch a movie, play some video games, and times I want to find pleasure in helping people. So I think that's the biggest challenge just for me personally in recent times is that trying to find that perfect balance.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Um. So, what are some things you're really proud of in Salient? Is there anything which you're happy about? I know Bloxies are probably one of the big ones.
Hmm. Well, let's see. I'll try and give an answer that's not the Bloxies, just because that's kind of obvious. But I think I, th- gosh, that's just a great question. I think the thing I'm most proud of is being a place that I can give people, I guess you could say, a sense of belonging and give them like a group of people that are kind of like themselves. I'm talking obviously the designers. Um, and just to try and because most of our user base, well, most of Roblox user base in general is just a lot of young people. So as I'm an adult, I try and help them through their middle school or high school lives or whatever that may be, and just try and prepare them for whatever it is that they want to do after that, or just help them find their escape or whatever that may be. I kind of I'm not gonna say a father figure. I'd say more like a big brother figure to some of them, and I just try and always be supportive and always try and push everyone to be their best them. That's essentially what I want to do. I try and make everyone be their best. I always say be your best you, right? Like don't worry about what everyone else says about you. Be your best you. And that's my main goal with and with them.
Okay. Yeah, that's some sort of awesome advice, and I think it is interesting to know the many different parts. And yeah. Okay. So, do you have any future plans for Salient, like any upcoming events or something you would hope to do in the future?
I Okay, there has definitely been some stuff that I have planned for a while. The problem is that I I don't have the time to juggle everything, or just to be entirely truthful, I think someone else can do it better than myself, right? There are just some things that I would rather give to someone else than to myself, just because I think as a whole it would be best for all of us, right? Um I have definitely been wanting to get into UGC items a little bit, not like a full Roblox clothing group, because I'm like a whole UGC clothing group. I don't want to do that. I care a lot about like 2D graphic design, but I definitely want to try and offer like accessories. So let's just dumb it down to like the most simple thing possible, like a Salient hat, right? Something you could wear with something else. And then we also had another idea for what I guess you would consider Salient Home Store 2.0 or version 2, or however you would want to consider that. Um but I I don't want to go too much into that, because I think the concept we have for it is really cool, but again, it's the struggle of finding someone that's going to be dedicated enough and good enough um to really give us the vision that I see both for myself and for others. So I think those are like the two things I really want to, if it's not just like the normal stuff, those are like the two branches I'd really want to grow out a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, they're definitely two interesting ones, and I think it definitely would be awesome to try and do.
Hmm.
Okay, so Roblox has been bringing out lots of features, but I think one of the big ones, which you've already mentioned, is layered clothing. Um, how do you feel about it, and do you think it's something you would want to put in Salient in the future, or
I it's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to that. See, I kind of like 3D clothing, but at the same time I don't. And it's not because, like, yes, obviously it dips into our share of what we do in Salient, right? Like, obviously. And it takes away like a percentage of what we do. But realistically, just a lot of the 3D clothing, I don't, not that I don't think the quality looks good, not that I don't think the work that the person put into it doesn't look good. Not that. It's more so I just don't think they look good on Roblox characters. Um, with that being said, like I said in the previous question, for Salient, I what I want to do would be to do stuff. They'd be more like accessories, like stuff you could add to your outfit, like maybe a hat or a necklace, or maybe I don't know. You could even do like a backpack or sunglasses. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do, or maybe like an over like jacket that you could wear over like a t-shirt. Like that kind of 3D clothing I really love because there's like layers to that. But if I were to take Salient in that direction, it would be more that kind of base than just a full on like everything just 3D clothing like shirts, pants, everything. No, I don't want to do that. I want to make it more of like a bonus add-on kind of ordeal to what we already offer.
okay, yeah, fair enough. Some very good points, and it is sort of lots of people are moving over to it, but there's quite a few people that aren't quite sure. But it is interesting to get your opinion on. Yeah,
Well, the thing is, I also think that they're two entirely different communities, right? It's like, let's just compare like social media. Some people make long form videos, they make like YouTube videos or even movies, right? It's like comparing a movie to a show. Like, yes, they're both forms of like consuming media, but they're entirely different. Like, the way you stylize them and the way you make them is entirely different. So, I don't know. I think Salient is going to stay mostly 2D with, and we're going to dip into that 3D aspect a little bit, but not too much.
fair enough. Yeah, okay. So, moving on to a new question. What do you think is important to consider when you're making a new piece of clothing?
In like what aspect?
Sort of like the design or the style or the actual creative part of it.
I don't think anything is important.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
think I think everything is important, but I also think nothing is important just because when you make something, it should be whatever you want, right? It like we have a certain style in Salient, right? We do, if people that are familiar with clothing design. We're a strictly soft line group. That's like the only rule I enforce. Well, that and making appropriate clothing for obvious reasons. But other than that, it's like make whatever you want. Who am I to tell you what to make and what not to make? You know, let your creative juices fly. I might tell you, hey, we need something that, I don't know, let's say Halloween's coming up, right? It's coming up pretty soon. I'll be like, hey, we need some Halloween stuff. And I want it to have some red in it. That's about it. There's nothing more. There's nothing really important about it. You just give it to the designers. Hey, what do you want to do? That inspires you? Awesome. Do that. This inspires you? Awesome. Make that. Whatever inspires you, that's what's important. It's not about the design. It's not about like where to begin. It's about do what inspires you. That's what's important.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I haven't really thought about it in that way, and as you said, it sort of changes the style and brings out different types of clothing, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's also a cool thing about Salient is I try and just let people do what they do, and we're kind of loosely like casual clothing. But if somebody came in and made some armor or something, right? I wouldn't care. I'd be like, all right, cool, let's upload it. See if people like it. Who cares, right? That inspires you. You love that. You like all that stuff. Let's do it. Let's upload it.
Yeah, okay. So moving on to a different question. This sort of it's about Salient, but it's a different part of it, and it's how do
Okay.
you sort of market your clothing to new people? Do you advertise it, or how do you do it?
I think that is a huge struggle in a modern day Roblox. I think the market is so incredibly oversaturated. There's 1,000 different groups, right? I mean, there's a lot. And even more that are made with, people that copy clothing, but that's besides the point. I think for me personally, I try not to, I guess in a way you could say, oversell the product. I'm very much so a type of person that I'm like, if you make good quality content, like you'll get sales. If you're good, your work will speak for itself, right? But I just try and promote it to our communities, like within ourselves. Now, the problem outside of that is it's really hard to branch out of your inner community. Um, and I've been really trying to do that outside of the communities that we currently sit in. But it's not easy unless you're spending an insane amount of Robux or USD converted into Robux on like advertisements, like literal advertisements. And advertisements suck on the Roblox platform right now, right? If you want to do anything, you need sponsored ads. So it's 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 one of those things where you're trying to use like a Discord server, or you're trying to maybe make stuff with other communities, promote yourself on Twitter, but you could only go so far without having to spend some to get some, right? It's that's kind of just the world we live in on this site. You're not just gonna wake up one day and be like, "Hey, look at all these sales I got right here." Like that's just not how it works. I wish it was, but it's not how it works. So you kind of just have to put in a lot of Roblox, of Robux, or again, I say your dollars converted into promote on the site, or just get really lucky and have and have somehow get the algorithm to help you out and get you sales. Which I don't know. I don't understand the algorithm. I know a lot of developers spend thousands, and I mean thousands of dollars to try and figure out the algorithm and find what works and what doesn't work. But I don't know. I try and just promote to the people within us as much as possible. Like that's what matters to me. I try and as much as I want outside faces, I care more so about the people that are, you know, within our community.
Fair enough, yeah. And I think, as you mentioned, many people spend ages trying to work out how the algorithm works, and yeah, it can be difficult getting it there. Okay, so one question which I think many people will be wondering is how did you learn to create clothing on Roblox?
So, oh gosh, when did Thailand start? I want to say 2011 or 2012. I had um I was kind of trying to make stuff on my own, right, with no help at all. And it safe to say it was really bad. It wasn't that good. But I had someone who doesn't play Roblox anymore. I think I still have him added somewhere. But someone who was honestly like way better than me came to me and was like, "Hey, like I see that you're trying, like, I see that you're inspired, and I see that this is something that you're passionate about. Like, let me help you, which is essentially what I try and get into do with Salient now. But I can get into that a little later. And he kind of just, he didn't teach me in depth. He really just taught me the basics, right? He taught me like the basics of like just how to make my stuff better, and like how I should use this instead of this, and do that this way instead of that way. And it was kind of just that. And I kind of just from there, did I say his name? His name was Cyconex, Cyconex.
Fair enough. No,
I'm
you
not gonna
didn't
say
say the
his.
name.
I'm not gonna say his real name just for obvious reasons,
Fair enough.
but I just want to make sure he gets his credit. And from there, I kind of just tried teaching myself, because I think as much as you can learn as a designer, it's also about being on your own kind of thing. You know, like a lot of designing is kind of working on your own lines of work. So a lot of the time, I think it's just important that you can teach yourself. Like, I can come in and I can show you how to do this, but what are you going to do with what I teach you, right? It's not like I'm not going to tell you step by step how to make it. I'm not going to be like, here, do this and then do this and then do this. I'll be like, okay, this is how you do this. Now, how are you going to do it for you, right? That's what he gave me, and that's how I learned. So that's essentially what I do with my Salient people that are aspiring designers or want to learn. I teach them the bare basics. And then if they want to learn more, I'm entirely for trying to give them every single thing I know. Um, but I think, just giving them the keys to the kingdom is really important. Let's put it like that. Just teach them the basic and then gives them the keys to the kingdom. Let their creativity be what defines them.
Yeah, and I suppose in some ways that's what Roblox is. Sort of let your imagination go and create anything you want to create.
Right.
Okay, so when you're making clothing, do you have any tools or resources you would recommend to anyone if they wanted to start clothing?
Well, I personally, and it's probably outdated at this point, I still use Paint.net to this day. Right? It's free on Windows, at least, because Apple doesn't have it. Uh, and for me, I think it's just the familiarity that I know it and I know what I'm doing. But I know people that use Photoshop. I know people, Oscar, who does all of our logos. Shout out to Oscar. He uses Photopia. Uh, he might use Photoshop now. Not sure. We have a new designer. Name is Alice. She uses, gosh, what does she use? She uses some program that I've never heard of before. But I think what most people on Roblox use is probably a mixture of Photopia, GIMP, Paint.net, or Photoshop. Those are like the four main programs that I've known everyone to use. Photoshop is the one you have to pay for, and all the others are free. So
Okay, yeah, I think I've used all of them as you've mentioned, but Photoshop I prefer, but it is a lot of money if you're not going to use it very much. But
yeah, that's the issue.
Paint.net is really good if you want to start things like that, and I would recommend that one if you were to use one.
And Photopia is essentially just like a free rip-off version of Photoshop. So a lot of people like that because they could just use that, and then just once they do get Photoshop, it's really easy to, uh, I guess, just translate over. But I don't know. So some of them are better at doing certain things than others. So it's kind of just do what makes you comfortable, I guess. I think what's more important is the actual creativity of the user. Um, like, yeah, these softwares are good for whatever they are, but if you're good enough, you will find a way to be good at said thing, whatever that may be. And the lighting in here now sucks because it's cloudy.
I was going to say it keeps getting darker.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so are there any sort of challenges or difficulties you've had when running Salient over time? And if so, how did you overcome it?
I think I think the current difficulty is uh I want to try and branch into more of like the female market. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just so happens that all the people we just are typically a male dominant clothing group. Just because most of our designers are males. So that's just it's just the hand we've been dealt essentially. And I really want to get more into the female stuff. Um Trying to look for some great people to get into that. Um can you repeat the question again?
Sure. Sort of, do you have any sort of issues or sort of issues you've had over time in Salient that you would overcome or know a good way to overcome it?
Okay, so that and people just giving up without even trying. What I said previously and then that.
And
I
that,
think a lot of people come in and like I said like towards the beginning, I think a lot of people come in thinking it's one thing and get their hopes up and it's really hard to keep people for a long time. I think that's the hardest challenge is I'm kind of the person that just chills here the entire time and watches faces come and go, which is entirely fine by me. That's kind of what CNN is about. But it's really hard to build up the brand when people people do it because they love it and then they either go off to college or do something else that inspires them or nice. The light is actually coming in nicer. Uh do something that inspires them more to show their creative side or whatever that may be, you know. Everyone likes to do other things. So which is entirely fine. But I think that's the hardest thing is just to try and always stick it out through the highs and lows. Um and just to keep uploading no matter what.
fair enough. Yeah, it's good advice and it's interesting to know about it. Okay, so a question for you is how do you balance your time and energy between Salient and everything else you have, like work and everything else?
I don't know if I do. I think I think there's just some days where I'm just like, okay, I need to focus on saying it. Like I just like this is important. We need to do this. And then there's some days where I just want to, and then there's other days where I don't. Um, I think it also matters exactly what's going on in the group, right? So if we have, for example, we do a Halloween stuff every year, right? I am going to force myself to be active for the group so that I can put on a Halloween event for the group. That's just there's no such thing as balancing for that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put everything else aside in my and during my free time that I have outside of work, I'm gonna do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um, so I think it kind of depends on just what's happening at the time. I don't have a like flow chart, I guess, or like I I don't know how to describe it. I don't have a way to be like, yeah, this is when I would choose myself or this is when I would choose the group. There's no method to the madness. There really isn't. I kind of wish there was, but it's kind of just like, all right, it was a rough day at work. Maybe I should just like relax today. You know, it's kind of I don't know. I just however I feel that day. Unless there's like date specific things that need to be done. I kind of just go with the flow. Whatever needs to be done gets done, and I don't know.
No, it's
I
fair
do
enough.
think I do think that in recent years I've definitely gotten better at handling it just mentally. Just because I used to like stress myself out a lot about it, but now I definitely feel way better just openly doing whatever. It's- I don't know if that's experience or just getting older. I don't have anything to explain that.
That's fair enough, and yeah, and I think one thing lots of people don't realise is you don't have to have a set time for everything. If you want to work on something, work on it, and if you don't have to. No one's going to force you to do something, and I would say never sort of set a short deadline if you're not quite sure what you want to work on.
Well, with you saying that, that's also a great point. That's something I love about what we do is that you can work and you can make anything whenever you want, right? Like I could say, okay, you have an assignment that's due in 2 weeks, or I need this in 3 weeks. Like this is something that we're making for a really big game and we need it for 3 weeks, whatever, right? But you can make it at 3 p.m. You can make it at 3 a.m. You could do it the first week. You could do it the second week. It That's what I love is it's the ability to do this hobby that you really like and do it at your own time, whatever is best for you. And I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's such a cool thing to do where you can just say, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I make sort of clothing, and I love doing what I do in a way because Roblox does change a lot of people's lives in a way. You can do lots of creative things, but you don't have to spend your whole time doing it. You can go and work or do other things. Roblox will always be there anytime, any day.
Right.
Okay, so when you got your two Bloxy nominees in a way, how did you feel about it? Were you happy, or what did you feel when you found out?
I think I think getting nominated was probably the biggest honor I've ever had on the site. However, I'm the type of person that I mean, just to be entirely honest, I want to win everything. I'm very competitive. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I feel like that's just my competitive nature. So losing like just doesn't sit well with me. Like even though like I truly believe that they deserved it more than I did, I'm just it's kind of like a terrible thing to say, but I'm not satisfied. Like I'm a sore loser and I'm also a sore winner. So I don't know. I am definitely very, very grateful for even having that opportunity. And now I can look at it like that. But at the time, it kind of I think I'm just really grateful for the people I had in my life at the time when I didn't win. Let's just put it like that. I think that they really helped me um not think about it as much. And yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know what
fair
else to
enough.
say to that.
Okay, so I'm just reading through a question, trying to think the best one to answer after that because that was a very good answer to it. Are there any sort of trends or anything you've jumped on when making Salient clothing? Has it been like a big event and you've jumped on it and made items for it, or
Oh, all the time. I mean, not like all the time, but there have definitely been multiple cases of stuff. For instance, sometimes somebody will make something and I'll be like, yeah, we're not gonna put that on sale yet. And they're gonna be like, why? I'm like, because we got to capitalize on when it comes out, right? So somebody makes something like Spider-Man related, let's just say Spider-Man related. I'm gonna hold it for 4 months until the Spider-Man movie comes out. You know, or like when remember when everyone was like going crazy over the Minions, and then we made like a whole tweet about oh, you need to wear your suit and go like see the Minions movie or whatever, right? I mean, I think capitalizing on things is kind of important, but I don't know. I that's kind of like cheating the algorithm too at the same time. It's like everyone is talking about this and it's not a bad thing to do, but I don't know. I don't know. I think as much as I do it and as much as I encourage it, I also think it's kind of like cheating the system in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. In some ways, as you mentioned, it is cheating, but it's not cheating in the sort of bad sense. It's a good sort of cheating because it will massively benefit you, and loads of people will want to buy items related to the event or something that's come out.
Well, to further elaborate on that, and I don't know if you might have a question about this later on, but I think that's also a struggle with Salient though, is because, for example, let's name another big thing in the world, like Stranger Things, right? If someone makes a Stranger Things shirt and they put like a Hellfire Club logo on the shirt, it's gonna get a lot of sales, just because everyone's like, "Oh, the Hellfire shirt from the show," right? But we don't do that in Salient because I care so much about making copyright free content. So when we do try and uh I guess jump on the bandwagon, I guess you could say, it's really hard to do that because we don't make copyrighted content. So when they go to search for it, we name it something entirely different. Like we can't cheat the algorithm like a lot of other people do. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to do it for us at least. I've always been the type of person that says, you can make a white shirt and put a Nike logo on it and it'll get 100 sales. And then you could put a white shirt with, sure, let's just say a Salient logo on it and it'll get 10 sales. Like that's just how it works. And I think it's dumb just because the people with real talent are going to be beaten by the people that just make name brand products, but that is just the name of the game. And in my opinion, it sucks. But that's just how the platform is. So yeah.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it is sort of a difficult thing because someone could make something, as you mentioned, like a Nike shirt, and they would get lots of sales, but it is just such an interesting platform because every platform is very different. But a platform like Roblox, it's very difficult to get sort of known without doing copyrighted items in a way.
hmm We try and make things like as kind of we try and just use things in real life as inspiration, and they might look very very similar, but we just try and put our own little spin on it, essentially.
Fair enough, yeah. Okay. So you mentioned about sort of the copyright and IPs, and my next question was literally going to be that exact topic. And the question was, how do you sort of deal with copyrighted content? Have you ever considered like getting a license to use it, or what do you think about it?
I think here's the thing. I don't mind making copyright free content, but I also don't think that Salient is in a position where they can just where we can just contact a company and be like, "Hey, we want to make stuff for you." Even let's say even if we do make better stuff than other groups or we don't, the group size just isn't big enough, and that's just what people are going to look at, right? It's kind of like a thing I always say, like follower count or group count is eye candy, right? Just this group has 50,000 people in it, and they could make better or less stuff, or they could make better or worse clothing. I mean, sales, right? Like it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, this is their name. This is how many people right here, all the way up here, that are in the group. So when you compare it to us, that's down here at 4,000 or 5,000. I think we're like 4.6 or something, right? 4.6K or something. Um, it's not good eye candy. So even if I wanted to like contact somebody, I don't think we would be given permission to do something like that. I guess it wouldn't hurt to try, but it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of work for something that I don't think would happen to begin with. And it would be taking time away from stuff that I already do. So I don't know. I don't know if trying to pursue that option is worth it for me.
Fair enough, yeah. Okay. So we went about lots of different clothing items and things, but have you ever struggled to get any ideas out? Like you've released so many items and all of them are amazing, but have you ever run out of ideas or just had a blank moment?
Oh, all the time. Like all the time. There's I'll let you in on a little secret. In Salient Creative, which is our server for just the designers and the higher ranks. I have a channel and it's called Thailand's Inspiration Dump. And essentially what it is any single time I see anything anywhere, doesn't matter what it is. It can literally be a picture of a building and I just anything that inspires me, I post into there. And the reason why I do that is for me because sometimes I see something that inspires me, and then when it comes time for me to make something, I can't think of anything, so I have to go back. But it's also for other people. It's also for our other designers. Like sometimes something that inspires me can inspire you, right? And that's essentially like why I made it. It used to be just for me. It used to literally be a text channel that only I could see. And I was like, you know what? I could use this as an inspiration tool to everybody else. So I don't know. I think everything and anything can inspire people. It's kind of just like depends on what you like. But at the same time, there are definitely like guts where you're just like, yeah, I don't know what to make. I don't know what to do. And I think I think the assignments I give in Salient kind of help our designers with that. Because I'm always trying to mix it up. Even if it's like something we have done before, I won't revisit that until at least a year later. So I just try and keep things fresh. And then when things do inspire me, I make them. I also think that the beauty of Salient is that we have enough designers to where I don't have to make stuff all the time. I can upload other people's clothings for like 5 or 6 weeks before I even have to make anything. You know what I mean? It's I think that's kind of the beauty is overwork myself and they don't have to be overworked either. Just because of like how many people we have on the team at the moment.
Fair enough, okay, yeah, and it is. How many people do you have on the team now? It's over 10, isn't it?
Are we just talking about designers? Just
Well, it's up to
designers?
you. Designers, I guess, yeah, clothing ones.
See. Currently, we have one, two, three, four, five, oh, six, because I'll count myself. Six active designers. And when I say active, I mean they probably make something at least like once a month.
Okay.
Now, outside of that, we also have some people that make stuff kind of outside of that they might literally make something like once a year, which I'm cool with. I really don't care. Um, they just, we all have lives and sometimes we just get inspired to make some stuff. But all in all, I'm trying to do the math here of people that are capable of making stuff. I would say probably about 10 if you include myself. Maybe not even if you include myself. We got one, two, three, four, five ish, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That doesn't mean that they're active, but that is essentially our list. And I'm always looking to expand. It's just kind of hard at the moment trying to teach people from scratch like I once did. I don't that's something I've been trying to find balance and that I haven't with my new job. But always looking to expand and to provide that the platform for other people.
Okay, yeah. It is sort of. Yeah, it is definitely interesting to hear your opinion on it, and that you do have many different staff. And I think I remember a couple of years ago it was such a small team, but Salient is massive now.
I think I think when you and I started talking, I think we maybe had three of us. I think it was me, Ryan, and Seabass or
Yeah,
Sebas
about that.
or
Yeah,
what. But um now we have like a whole team, which is really cool. Uh, but it's not about me. I honestly I try whenever an opportunity comes up, I try and give it to them. Honestly, I've come and done a lot of cool things in my time, but I really just if I get some kind of partnership deal or something with like a big name group or I have an opportunity, I always offer it to them first. So you know it's really cool to be able to see other people get the opportunities that I once got, and I really like it. It honest like truly, and I'm not just saying this like just to try and boast what we are, but it honestly like brings me great pride and great happiness to try and just to be able to give people the opportunity to make cool things for cool people. I really very much enjoy it very much. It's the only reason why I still do what I do, even though I don't have time like I used to. It's just I find so much joy in helping others and this.
Fair enough, yeah. And I think Roblox is such a good place for people to meet new people. So I bet you've met loads of different people on Roblox, which you've sort of spoken to tons since you've met them.
Oh yeah, I mean, what's crazy is I have friends that in the nicest way possible were nobodies. And when I say that, I mean they were just like people that were just like aspiring to be somebody, right? And I might not even like our friendship might have just not even I'm not even gonna say fade away because it's not like we got into a fight, but sometimes like I want to do this and they want to do that. And it's crazy how like there's some people that I've known that were again I'll just say that there are nobodies, and then eventually like I'll just hear 3 years later they're like some hot shot for this on YouTube, for like Roblox YouTube or like as a builder, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so cool. So I don't know. I definitely have built a large uh I don't know the term I would use for it. Like a large branch of people like in all different shapes and realms of the site, but I don't know, it's just so cool to see people doing stuff that they love to do and just finally getting their break, it's so great. It's why I love what I do.
Fair enough, yeah. And it's so interesting because so many people have said, oh, I've met my friend online or on Roblox and we've spoken to
Oh
each
yeah.
other for ages. And everyone has such a cool story about how they met different friends and things like that.
Oh yeah, there's some people that I've met on the internet that I have known, gosh, for over 10 years, and I still talk to them. So it's crazy. And I've even met some of them like in person. So it's crazy like what Roblox has really given us. It's insane. Like when you really think about it, it's just something to be grateful about.
Yeah, and I think everyone can agree that Roblox has changed tons of people's lives in a way. Because if Roblox wasn't here, I don't really know what I would be doing or what anyone would sort of be doing, developing
Yeah,
games
I
and
don't know
things
what I
like
would be
that.
doing in my free time. I don't know.
Probably because, yeah, there wouldn't really be, there's no other platform like Roblox in a way. It's such a unique style that you can, there's platforms you can make games on, but not in the way
Not
Roblox
like
has
this.
it. No.
Right.
No. Okay. So, you've made a clothing item on Salient, and what tips do you have to release it to other people, like social media, or how would you promote a new piece of clothing?
I think it depends on what it is, but for the most, well, when I say that, I mean like if it's for somebody else, as in like a group or a game. But for the most part, it's said person or myself finishes item. It goes into our list of uploads. And if it's a timing based upload, like I'll use the example again. If it's a Halloween themed upload, it will sit and wait until Halloween. Um, and other things will just sit and wait, right? And I don't know. I think it's just the process of using uh Discord to promote it to our people, and then the group and Twitter. I guess we could also do an Instagram, which honestly wouldn't be terrible. But the thing I love about Twitter is that I can schedule stuff. So I don't have to be home. I could be at work and it be uploaded and everyone can see it, which is awesome. And I wish more social media platforms offered things like that, including um Discord and stuff. But um I just think try and give yourself as many avenues as possible and then go from there. There's nothing wrong with using as many social media platforms as you can, because the more you use, the more eyes you get at the end of the day. That's what I think.
Fair enough, yeah. Hang on that sort of, if anyone wants to join any social media that Salient has, if you go on the group, all the social links are there, the Twitter, the Discord, everything's there. So feel free to go and find it, join the group and buy all the clothing because some of it is completely amazing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have run over a bit on time and I still have questions, so I'm going to do a bit of the Q&A and finish off asking the questions.
We can do like lightning round. I can try and answer stuff quick if you want.
No, there's no rush for it. I'll just do a bit of both, and then it sort of adds a bit of mixture to it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
So one of the questions that one of the developers have put in the group chat is, do you have any tips on making games? Because I know you've got the Salient game in a way as well.
Making games. I think I don't I don't exactly have any tips in the sense of what to make. I think I think the main thing is make something that is both quality and user friendly. I think a lot of people don't consider is how huge the mobile user base is, and that is something that people need to know, because the mobile user base on Roblox is massive, and I mean massive. I I want to say it's either the same or just as big as the PC uh percentage of the pie chart, or however you would want to phrase it, but definitely make a great game. And just try and make it something that everyone can access on all different kinds of platforms. Um, and do what inspires you, man. I'm always for that. Do something that brings you joy. If you think this is a great idea and you want to go for it, then go for it. Like you should work on stuff that makes you happy. That's what you should do.
Fair enough, yeah. I mean, it is sort of do what you want to do, I guess. Okay, so there's another question, and that question was from Ectoprismatic. Sorry if I said your username wrong, but thank you for that question. Another question is from It's Harry Does Tech YT, which I'm guessing is YouTube. And his
Very
question
likely.
said, would you say Microsoft Paint is a good program to make textures or clothing for a Roblox game or a Roblox avatar?
Microsoft Paint is garbage. I mean, I've never used it myself just because like it's kind of inferior, but I am the type of person that says it's not the software, it's the person. So who knows? Maybe you can make something really good. I don't know, man. Like I've seen people with like terrible devices on like Chromebooks that can barely run make absolutely like amazing pieces of artwork. So I don't recommend it, but go for it. If you think that'll work for you, go for it. Who am I to tell you what to do?
Fair enough, yeah. I probably wouldn't personally use it, but if you want to use it, by all means go for it. Oh, yeah. Okay, so What do you think is the most rewarding part in making clothing for Salient?
Well, I think for anybody at the end of the day, the most rewarding part is seeing that people like it. Just just plain and simple. I think at the end of the day, like, yeah, we make it for ourselves, but at the end of the day, it's just uploading it and seeing that people like it. That's the most rewarding thing. That, or if you're in it for the Robux, then to do it and see a lot of sales and make Robux. I think I don't know. Pretty simple, I guess.
Fair enough, yeah. Okay. I'm just seeing what else we've got. We've nearly done all the questions. Okay. Okay. Have you ever made a sort of big mistake in which you sort of changed your mind on? So is there a piece of clothing you haven't liked and removed it, or is there a different mistake or something along those lines you've had?
I don't think there's ever been an item of clothing that I've removed. But there are definitely times where I have like an idea in my head and I think it's gonna look great, and then I'll make it, and then I'll not upload it to Roblox, but I'll upload it so I can like visually see it, and I'll be like, yeah, this sucks. I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't look good, and it happens more than you might believe. But I don't know. I think a lot of it is also trial and error. Like, not all ideas are good ideas, but as long as you're making stuff that you find fun, I mean, go for it. I'm gonna sound like a broken record because I'm saying the same stuff over and over, but that's just how I feel. Like, if that's what you like, go for it. I'm not gonna bash you for having different views and liking different types of clothing more than others, or you like what you like, you know?
Okay, yeah. And it is sort of interesting because, as you mentioned, you haven't sort of made a set mistake, and I think everyone has an opinion of when they're trying to make something they think, oh, is this the same for everyone? But everyone will have a different way to make a creation, and making a group will be different for every person. There's no like set way, do it like this, you'll get a perfect group, because it just doesn't work like that, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I make stuff and I just don't like it, but once it's out there, once it's uploaded, it's not being taken down. Like, I've already decided that it's gonna be up and it's gonna stay up unless something happens or Roblox takes it down or something. But once it gets to the point where it gets uploaded, oh, it's there forever. It's not gonna be taken down.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So, if someone was to make a clothing group on say not a on Salient, sorry, if someone was to make a clothing group, would you give any sort of lessons or advice to them if they were to do it?
I would say it's way harder than you think. And I don't say that like just to try and discourage people, but just because I've seen it so many times. Um, but if you think you want to go for it, try and stay creative, be original, okay? And again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but just make what you want. Whatever inspires you, do that. Do that. That's really all there is to it.
Okay. So, on that sort of topic, is there any important thing you would tell people about when you're pricing a clothing item? Because lots of people sell their clothing for hundreds of Robux, but I know Salient doesn't. And do you have any tips on that?
Are we talking strictly 2D clothing?
Anything, I guess. Yeah. What's your opinion on it?
I think for me, I don't really we don't really make stuff for Robux. Um, I kind of just, you know, make to make. And it just gets put on sale for 5 Robux, and we make the 3 or whatever, right? But sorry, got sidetracked. Uh, but I do think the reason why some people upload it for a lot of Robux is I've heard and I've never tried it myself, but I've heard that you can somehow cheat the algorithm if you upload it for really expensive, and then you get a bunch of people to buy it, and then you move it back down. I don't know how true that is. I haven't tried it myself, just because I'm very I care about doing everything the right way. But yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, definitely. And I've never sort of heard about, as you mentioned, cheating the algorithm, but I wouldn't recommend doing something in that way and just sort of do it the right way, I guess. And yeah, never sort of abuse the system, I guess. Okay, that is pretty much all of my questions. Yeah, I'm just checking the chat. I don't think there's any more questions in there. Do you have anything you would want to tell people, like any information or anything about Salient which people might want to know?
Wait, we just got another one. You can
Oh,
go ahead and say it.
yeah. Um, if I wanted to start a company from Roblox, what tip do you have? That's from It's Harry Does Tech again.
Well, I think it's important based on what type of company I guess you are starting, like depending on what niche, or if you're making like a game or clothing or whatever that may be, right? But again, broken record, just make what you want. Just do that. And if you're making a game, if you're stylizing a game, make sure that performance as well, meaning that people can run it really well on mobile. I think that's the most, what's the right word? I think that's like the thing that most developers don't take into consideration is just how huge the mobile market is on the platform. You have to make your game be suitable for the mobile market. Period. If you want to be successful, you have to do that. Period. If you don't, you're like, it's like being in a room of 100 people and having the ability to get all 100, and then you just say no, I'm only going to have the ability to get 50, right? It's not smart. Don't do it. You want to get all the pieces. If you're offered a pizza, you want all the pizza. You don't want half of the pizza. Okay? So capitalize on the mobile market.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's very good advice, and yeah, I don't really think I can add anything else onto that. You covered all of it. Okay. So yeah, the sort of last question I would say is, do you have any sort of secrets about Salient which could be interesting, or any cool things?
I mean, kind of. Can you show images? Give me a second.
Yeah, if you share
No.
your screen, we can show images.
No, can't do that. Uh, where's that? Give me a second. I know it's somewhere around here. I'll send it to you in a DM.
Sure, go for it.
You could put it in the All right. So everyone knows and loves here. Everyone knows and loves the Salient logo, right?
Yep,
Uh
everyone knows it's sort of that interesting icon, I guess, but it's what Salient is known for.
so this is what we have now. Oh wait, wrong person. Whoops. This is what we have now. And you can show that to them. Uh you can show that to everybody on the screen.
Yep, let me
Well,
just grab it.
this is the original. When I was trying to develop a logo, and I kind of in a sense knew what I wanted, but I hadn't exactly made my mind up. Um and that's just I went through so many things, you know, and that's essentially what I guess ended with. So
Okay, I am just putting it on the screen. I'm just putting it in a good way, I guess. Okay, so anyone on the stream, on the bottom right of the image is the current Salient logo, and then on the top lefting away, this sort of H logo is what the original Salient one was like. But yeah, it is definitely interesting because it has changed so much. But it is, yeah, as you mentioned, it has changed, and I do prefer the current one though. It is much better. But yeah,
I think I might have another one. Hold on.
okay,
You
cool.
know what? Let's just open all of them. I have like the process of of this. So it went from that beginner one to this, and then you could see like where I made some additions, and then it went to this, and yeah. What else? Do I have any other cool stuff? I know the stream is like delayed. I'm trying to think. There's nothing. I don't know. There's nothing like essentially that I think is like really cool in the sense of like I don't know. Like I feel like anything that people would want to know, I've already said. You know what I mean? Like either on this interview or outside of it. So I don't
Fair.
I don't
Okay,
know.
I put the images on screen for anyone wondering. It sort of shows the different variations of Salient and how much the logo's changed. It has changed quite a lot.
Well, it has changed. That was just the
Yeah,
design process when we originally made it. And
yeah.
then the logo we have now like has been the logo since the beginning.
Still, yeah, don't change anything if it's perfect, I guess.
There's I don't know. I think I might be able to make something better, but at this point it's kind of just everyone knows it at this point. So I don't want to change it and then people have no idea what the heck it even is, you know what I mean?
Yep,
It's like you see a Nike logo, like you've seen the same Nike logo for the last 50 years. I don't want to touch the Salient logo because everyone knows what the Salient logo is.
yeah, I guess
So
so.
we'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough. Okay,
Over the top.
I think that's all the questions checking the chat, so I think that's going to be the end of the event here. But I wanted to thank everyone for watching the event, and we will be doing some more in the next sort of coming weeks or months or so. So that's all from me. Do you have anything else left to say?
I mean, I do, but then after I say it, well, I have two things. But the second thing after I say it, you're just gonna have to end. You're just
Fair.
I'm gonna say it, and then you have to immediately end. That's just how it's gonna work.
Okay.
Okay. The first thing is if you want to join the group or find all the other links to said thing, uh, just go to our not our Discord, our group, and all the social links are there. Just type in Salient, and you can find it. You can join at whatever you want, and that's that. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, just thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you all another day.
Buy Salient merch.